A glimpse of Washington from Arlington National Cemetery. Looking across the Potomac, one sees the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, and the United States Capitol as dominating features of the mall. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Within this massive, uninscribed sarcophagus rests an unknown soldier, a hero of the World War. The Republic has bestowed upon him its most cherished decoration for valor, the Congressional Medal, and all the major nations associated with America in the great enterprise for liberty have similarly honored his memory and the memory of the thousands of his comrades who laid down their lives on the field of honor. The grave of the unknown soldier is on the terrace of the Arlington Amphitheater, facing the rising sun and looking toward the Capitol. Dimly discerning in the background are the Lincoln Memorial and Washington Monument. Midsummer in Washington's Botanical Gardens. The builders of few world capitals have given as much thought to the tranquil beauties of nature as have those who planned and have made Washington. Every broad vista is interrupted at intervals by squares and circles in which bloom many flowers beneath a canopy of trees brought from all parts of the world. The Botanical Gardens occupy the eastern end of the mall. Rock Creek Park in autumn. Sylvan scenes, winding bridle paths, many miles of roadway, and the laughing waters of the stream from which it derives its name have made this playground famous throughout America. Central High School and its stadium. Washington schools are highly cosmopolitan. Pupils from many embassies and legations attend them. The present minister from China is one of Central's many distinguished alumni. 17 nationalities were represented among its pupils early in 1923. The zero stone for United States distances. In his plan for the federal city, Major L'Enfant proposed to erect in what is now Lincoln Park an historic column, also intended to be a mile or itinerary column, from whose station, a mile from the Federal House, all distances of places through the continent are to be calculated. This stone at the south front of the White House grounds is a belated adoption of at least part of that idea. Mount Vernon from the air. This interesting view of our national shrine gives an excellent idea of the beautiful site in which Washington, with his knowledge of surveying, chose as his home and wished to be his burial place. It is a custom among high officials of foreign governments to make a pilgrimage to Mount Vernon and lay a wreath at the simple tomb of the first president. The estate is reverently preserved by the Mount Vernon Ladies Association exactly as Washington left it. The Great Falls of the Potomac. This region has both scenic and historic interest. The Potomac has two kinds of beauty, wrote Viscount Bryce. The beauty of the upper stream, murmuring over a rocky bed, and the beauty of the wide expanse, spread out like a lake below the city. Along the Virginia bank at this point is the abandoned Washington Canal, now used for boating, and the crumbling foundations of a mill which recalls Washington's hope of founding a manufacturing city here. The home of American invention, the United States Patent Office. From this classic structure, occupying 2 city blocks, have been issued 1.5 million patents safeguarding the fruits of genius. Within its archives may be found the history of the inception and development of the telephone, the telegraph, the electric light, the phonograph, the photographic art, the radio, and the myriad other inventions which have contributed to the comfort of man and the progress of civilization. Historic St. John's, often called the Church of the Presidents. Its cornerstone laid 108 years ago, this edifice has been the place of worship of many men and women famous in the country's history. The lofty office structure which forms the enveloping background houses several thousand clerks of the United States Veterans Bureau. Feeding the pigeons in Lafayette Park. Opposite the White House, flanked by historic homes and other buildings, and containing statues of great men of 4 nations, this park is one of the most interesting of the smaller reservations in Washington. The pigeons are at home here, as are the squirrels in the Capitol grounds and the peacocks in Rock Creek Park. Sun hunters in Washington's tourist camp, East Potomac Park. The War Department supervises Potomac Park with its public golf course, vegetable gardens, a river driveway, a Girl Scouts tea room, and picnic grounds, in addition to the tourist camp. The Secretary of Agriculture goes to market with his wife. As head of the Department of Agriculture, the Secretary also has charge of this market, the only one owned by the federal government. For many years, this center market has ranked in interest with Washington's public buildings because wives of presidents, of Supreme Court justices, of cabinet and Congress members shop there. An alfresco luncheon a la carte. Washington probably is the foremost quick lunch city of the world, a custom entailed by the government's allowance of only half an hour for midday refreshment. Watching our national bird in our national zoo. Along a bridle path in East Potomac Park. A hitching post relic of horse-drawn carriage days. Washington probably is the only large American city where the hack still defies the taxicab. A youthful representative of more than 100,000 colored residents of the District of Columbia. Playing polo in Potomac Park. Marshy flats and a brush-grown peninsula have been reclaimed by Army engineers to make this superb recreation ground. A debutante foursome out for a stroll beneath the cherry blossoms which border Potomac Park. Canoeing in the tidal basin. Aquaplaning, a new sport in Washington. Along the picturesque Chesapeake and Ohio Canal. A midsummer crowd at the bathing beach. Recreations afforded in West Potomac Park run the athletic gamut from polo, swimming, boating, horseback riding, tennis, golf, and motoring to walking. Across the water is the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, where the government's paper money and its bonds and stamps are made. Fishing along the Washington Channel. These waters by night, with their reflected lights, afford a scene of magic beauty. Among the flowers in East Potomac Park. 2 decades ago, this entire section was a hopeless swamp. Today, through the skill of the landscape gardener, it has become a peninsular park, with fine driveways lined for miles with lovely flowers. A stadium, a boating canal, and many other features for public recreation are included in plans for its future development. Government clerks homeward bound from their day's work in the munitions and Navy buildings. Enjoying a summer swim in the open-air pool at Wardman Park, situated in the heart of Washington's residential district. A residential avenue of Washington. Looking down 16th Street from the headquarters of the National Geographic Society, at the right, toward the White House, dimly seen in the distance. Deer in the National Zoological Park on a winter morning. Aside from its noteworthy collection, Washington's zoo is unrivaled for scenic beauty, and, with its 175 acres in Rock Creek Park, is surpassed in area by only one zoological park in America. The peacock gives a plumage performance for a picnic party in Rock Creek Park. Waiting to ascend the Washington Monument elevator. A ball game on playgrounds near the Union Station. Sheridan Circle, one of many such beauty spots. Avenues which break the monotony of a checkerboard street design radiate from the Capitol and from many circles or small parks, which are distinctive features of the city's plan. The lofty interior of the Pension Office, scene of many inaugural balls. Statue of Joan of Arc in Meridian Hill Park. This is an exact copy of the statue by Paul Dubois before the Rheims Cathedral, considered one of the finest modern equestrian pieces. It was presented to the women of America by French women of New York City. West Point cadets and Annapolis midshipmen passing the U.S. Treasury in parade. The marchers typify the nation's defensive power. The building embodies the greatest financial strength in the world, for in its center are federal money-making, money-collecting, and money-spending activities in the persons of the Director of the Mint, the Commissioner of Internal Revenue, and the Director of the Budget. It also is the headquarters of the Federal Reserve Board, which regulates our banking system.